Hi everybody, it's Lynn here. I wanted to do this video to show you how I made this way cute door hanger using Canvas Corp goodness. Burlap minis, the canvas shape, which is the pocket, some chocolate jute, their fringe, some fluting, and their tissue stock, along with some Tattered Angel yummies, crushed shells in the Glimmer Mist, Simply Sheer Aqua, a little bit of caramel glam glitter paint, and then the last but not least is icicle glitter glaze. Oh, I'm sorry, that's called glimmer glaze. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how I made this so cute little thing. So let's get at it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up the top seam on the pocket. Just take my little X-Acto knife and go in and start that. So that's how we're going to create the pocket for our little door hanger. And how cute is this? You could put a gift in there. You know, you have a special gift you want to give somebody, or you just want to make your door look prettier. So anyways, I've opened up this seam, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I used a stencil. This is a Dylusions Stencil, and I have to tell you, I'm going to tell on myself. I love to do that. When I purchased this stencil, I was like, oh, I love the leaves. I'll probably never use the center of it. What did I do the first time I used it? Use the center of it. You know, you got to watch what you say. So anyways, I'm going to use the crushed shells. We're going to make sure that our mist is all nice and mixed up. All right, so this is crushed shells. And we're going to take this and we're going to commit to the mist. And we're going to spray this over top of our pocket. And it's going to create this really cool checkerboard pattern. Now I have some of the overspray on my mat, so of course we don't want to waste anything. So I'm going to take my burlap mini pocket, kind of scrunch it up a little bit, and then we're just going to sop up the leftover mist that's on the mat. And I do want to heat set this because we're going to add water and more layers, and I really would rather this be as dry as possible. Now I have to say that this is my all-time favorite technique and part of the reason why I love working with natural fabric so much. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a mister full of water and I'm going to go around the edges of my tag here. Okay, now that I have the edges all wet, I'm going to take Roll Top Desk. Get this extra water off of here. And I'm going to create a nice little puddle of it on my craft mat. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to dip the edges of this pocket shape into this ink. And look what it's doing. It's just soaking right up into the canvas. Oh my gosh, I love that. And then to help facilitate it a little more, you can spray a little bit more water on it, and it will also help tone it down just a tad. And then we're going to want to make sure that this is good and dry before we move on. And while we have this all on our mat, we're going to do the same process with our burlap mini. Picking up that ink. A little bit of extra water to kind of move it around a little, okay? And I'll be back when these are all dry. Now, while I'm doing this drying process, I'm kind of going to get in here and deal with these in the seams because this is two pockets sewed together. So I'm going to kind of separate the two edges here and do some rolling different stuff to get some fraying going on, and it just adds this extra dimension and just extra look to the pocket when it's dry. All right, so my next step is going to be taking the Simply Sheer Aqua, and we don't have to worry about shaking this up because this is just color, no glimmer. And I'm just going to give it a shot, my burlap tag, a shot up in the corner and a little bit down at the bottom. And then once again, I have a bit of overspray, so I'm just going to dip my pocket into what's left over on my mat. And then I'm going to spray it with a little bit of water to kind of make it smear, blend in a little bit. Then maybe blot it just a little bit to kind of, because I want that just to be a slight accent. All right, and there we have that. So once again, need to make sure this is all good and dry. All right, so next I'm going to be using the Glam Glitter Paint. And basically all I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip my paintbrush in here, and I'm just going to kind of brush it into the places that don't have the spray, what was that, crushed shell. So now I'm going to take a piece of the tissue stock, and I'm just going to kind of tear down the edge of it because I love the torn look. Not real concerned. Oh, how about if I get in camera as to how perfect this is, or whether the paper's getting all squinched up and wrinkled, because we're going to do that anyways. Okay, and then we're going to, about probably an inch piece, we're going to tear off of here. And we're not going to lose ourselves in the little details if it's not perfectly straight or whatever. Okay, so now that I have my strip, I'm going to fold it in half. And if you notice, I don't quite have everything, well, maybe you can't see that, but I don't have everything quite even. I have the top layer slightly lower than the outer layer. And basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to start squinching it and rolling it. Squinching and rolling. In fact, we may want to crumple this just a little bit and make it a little easier to work with. Squinching and rolling. So basically what I'm kind of doing is I'm just puckering this as I go along. All right, we're going to put some glue, the mixed media glue. Just going to place this back in here. You're going to get a little sticky. It's okay. And now you're going to kind of form your flower how you want it to look. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the Glimmer Glaze. I'm going to want to make sure that we get all that really fine glitter up off the bottom. All right, so I'm just going to paint around the edges. Just going to add a little bling and sparkle to the edges of our flower. While I'm waiting for my flower to dry, I'm going to create my leaves using the flute, which this is the 12 by 12 natural. Cut off a chunk. So I'm going to fold this in half. Maybe. And then I'm going to cut a leaf shape. And there we have our leaves. And then I'm actually going to take a little piece of this leftover here. And I'm just going to wad it all up. And this is going to be the center of my flower. So here we have the leaves, and let's kind of scrunch them. Surprise, surprise. I'm taking my handy dandy tiny attacher. I'm just going to kind of squinch together the bottom of the leaves. You can see how I did this. And then I'm just going to staple the bottom of that. And repeat that process with the other leaf, because we want these leaves to have some good dimension to them. And there we have our leaves. Now, I didn't have all of mine at work with me, but I do have it here at home. So I'm just going to kind of spray a little bit of this and rub it around the edges of the leaf. All right, so there, now we have the finished leaves. Our flowers setting up real nice. Now for the finishing touches. So using my chocolate jute rope, I cut about an 8-inch piece doubled over. And now I'm going to just create a loopy bow. And separate the loops out. And this is going to tuck up underneath our flower. And then we're going to take a piece of the fringe. I cut my fringe about 14 inches long. Kind of fray the ends of it so it doesn't have a nice little cut edge on it, because that so would not go with the whole look of this project. Rough it all up. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to tie a knot at the end of each end, I guess is the best way to say that. Now this pocket is a little bit darker than the one that I made before, so I'm actually going to add a little bit of spritz from the crushed shell so that the fringe doesn't look quite so stark. All right, and then we'll dry that. And then you're going to adhere that to your pocket. So we need to adhere our pocket, which has our flower and our leaves and our jute on it. And basically all I did was adhere, put a little line of the mixed media glue around the outside edge of the burlap pocket. And then that way you actually have 3 pockets. You have a pocket in between the 2 pieces, you have a pocket here, and then you have a pocket there. So this is quite the little pocket door hanger. Oops, I forgot to tack down the jute. Let's tuck that back up underneath there. And I did adhere that little piece of rolled up fluting for the center of my flower, which then you can actually even go in and, no, I think I would choose the Glam Glitter Paint. And we'll take a little bit of that. Just dab that on the center of that flower. Give it a little blingage. And there you have your completed project.